Hey everybody, this is a podcast, and I'm Mick. Go around in a circle and just say shit. Say your name. I mean,
I'm Z.
Yeah, hi everybody. People call me Bale. I'm gonna pass it over.
My name's Deckard. Alright, and to start this podcast off today, I had a short story that I had on Facebook. Now, rarely I actually don't go on Facebook. I very rarely go on Facebook, mainly because it's kind of a shit fest, and it's filled with ads, and also you got those, you know, fake news.
Fake
I also have another. I have shut.
It's totally Russia.
Anyways,
China.
Anyways, but
China.
God damn it,
one day when I was scrolling through
inevitable.
Facebook, as I rarely did this, but I was scrolling through because sometimes family wants me to go look on what they posted, and I saw this old friend, not old friend, but I knew her in high school, around freshman year, and she was a fucking popular chick.
Alright, but before we continue with the story, who goes on Facebook for any other reason than family nowadays? Really?
Well,
Yeah.
I
what about
sometimes
those
do.
people? Dude, I've seen people like go on Facebook and post like diary posts and stuff.
Oh my. Well,
You know, like,
okay,
you know, stupid
Facebook is
shit like
Tumblr
that.
now.
Yeah,
I just go on for
it's
like
basically
video
like
game
a watered down
posts.
version of Tumblr
Yeah.
from my.
I only go on because I'm
but
getting emails
basically-
spammed.
But basically, I.
You know you can block notifications.
I'm too
But
lazy.
basically, what happened was I knew this chick all the way back in freshman year, and I didn't even talk to her after, like, I think 1 week, and I didn't talk to her since then. But she on Facebook, she reposted this thing, and I almost started crying laughing because I was like, first off, why do you know about this? Second off, why? Because it was a fucking post on Facebook, and it said that hentai was
Oh, I heard about
poisoning
this.
America's youth,
Hentai poisoning.
specifically young males. That it was an addiction
I knew
and
that
that
was about
it
to take over.
needed to be stopped. And the thing was is that like her
Man may not have the
she
military,
reposted
but their
she re-
culture will take over.
She reposted this.
Yeah.
Article. She reposted this article, and she had this. She reposted it with like the words like, "We need to. This is a serious problem. We need to take care of this.
Yes, guys.
Take care of it
guys,
now."
the hentai. It's gonna take over the entire world. I'm not kidding. It's American culture specifically.
Specifically, American culture.
It's probably already taken over us, guys.
Do you think
Oh,
that?
no.
Do you think that maybe
How
there's?
much hentai do
do
It's
you
already
watch
too
every
late
day?
for me.
Do you already? It's already too late for me too. It's all right.
Yeah, me too, man.
But it's.
And that's why I'm here.
But my name's
Here to confess my sins.
my name's Deckard, and I'm addicted to hentai. Hi, Deckard.
Don't worry.
It's a hentai anonymous group, guys.
So wait, hentai is the most. This person must be very sheltered, thinking that hentai is the worst part of this that's taking over American culture. Have you heard of Hollywood?
I don't think
and,
I don't.
and Hollywood movies
I mean, she wasn't
and
from-
pornography in
from-
the first place.
From what
Big business, they call it.
I heard, from
Money shot.
From what I
Money shot.
I remember from what I can't talk today. For my interactions
Dick.
with her, my very few interactions, she was a very kind person, but I didn't expect her to, you know, be affected by hentai.
Seems like
as
everyone's
much as-
affected by hentai.
I don't think she
It's-
understands the art of hentai in
Art.
the first place.
Just spam her with
It's
hentai.
very
Just-
high IQ to understand hentai.
Overload her Facebook Messenger just with
Okay,
just pictures of naked anime girls. But
Why?
that's besides the point.
See, that's why, like, usually, like, some people way back, I think in the early 2000s, I feel bad for those people who had to, like, early on download porn, because you probably got a lot of fucking malware.
You're
or
talking
viruses.
about early 2000s.
Still get
Man, they
malware.
had adult porn shops where people would go and buy discs.
But I just
Those
meant-
things still
I
run.
just meant
You
those really
realize that,
socially
right?
awkward people who, like, stayed at home and wanted to just torrent a bunch
Alright,
of
but
fucking
seriously, guys, on a heavier note, who the fuck goes to, like, an erotic store to buy porn videos anymore?
People who don't give a fuck.
They have all of those on the internet.
Men in their
Dude,
late 40s who haven't left their parents' house or live alone.
or scared of the internet.
I'd rather just stay behind my screen.
Stay behind my screen.
Yeah.
I live
Nobody
in my
can
room.
judge me.
I live in my
No one
room.
can
Every
judge
time I
me.
come out, people say I look like a meth
I mean,
head,
sometimes
but I
my
am a
webcam
goblin.
lights up, but I'm not gonna I don't know what that's about. I think it's just malfunctioning.
It's not. It's
alright. Maybe it's too much audio.
It's Microsoft.
It's good. Microsoft. Bill Gates named his company after his penis.
Bill Gates is staring at us while we masturbate, looking at all the nice hentai or porn, so we can get some suggestions on what to do.
Okay, but guys,
on what to fap.
Something I came here wanting to talk about today is game updates and game news, and more of the controversial conflict, essentially, among
what happened to
a lot of
not
people.
talking about controversy?
Oh, we're not going to talk about
More
that
talking
kind of
about
controversy.
fail.
It's about people's. Some people have anger against this, some people don't. But when a game is being updated, do you believe that it's necessary for the game developers to send as much game news as they can about the update coming out? Or do you believe that they should only send up news when there's actual, reason to send it? Like, they have a lot of news to update about, instead of just giving us weekly updates on what's happening with the update. And do you believe that they should set a deadline as soon as possible to give people some sort of feeling for it? Or do you believe that they should just release it when they can?
Okay. On that note, there's this game called Terra. I've been waiting.
No Man's Sky.
I will kill you!
No Man's
Anyway.
Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Oh god, they
More
have
like
the disc.
No guy.
I have the
Bye.
disc.
You gotta understand.
Get that trash out of
You
here.
gotta understand right now that
'Kay.
Sean Murray is the next Jesus. He's the resurrection of Jesus.
Sean Murray, yeah, is that why he's dead?
Is that like a hoax? What's going on? What are you talking about?
He called him Jesus.
What
I
were
said,
you
is
gonna
that
say
why he's
about
dead?
game updates, Chris? Before Sean Murray came in, shoving his game down your throat.
Yeah,
love
they
that
do
rap.
that all the time. Well, Terra, this game, it was announced of March, somewhere around there, and they've barely had any updates. People on Reddit and everything are like, guys, the fuck?
What's even happening with the game in the first place? I think I heard about that a while back from you.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're like, oh yeah, so we're gonna release this game, but we're never gonna tell anyone anything about it before it releases. So we're just gonna keep it in secret and make everyone pissed off. Sounds like No Man's Sky. At least they are lying.
More or less, kind of just
And
sounds
it's
like
free.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh boy.
If it's not like No Man's Sky, they'd be
I'm not-
over-promising things and saying way too much that's not even there. I think.
Yeah, but that may be what's happening right now. That
What?
may
I
be
thought he said he
too
wasn't
much.
getting enough information about the game because they're not releasing
No,
anything
well,
about
if
it.
they say we're going to release it, but then don't tell you when or anything about when they're going to release it,
Okay.
isn't that essentially over-promising?
No,
But
I guess so.
I
Yeah.
thought No Man's Sky at least got an actual release date, though.
I mean,
They kept delaying it.
I mean, they kept delaying it,
they
but
did
at least...
release, do one thing, they delayed it once.
Speaking of game updates, I can tell you right now that I do have paid game updates, especially with Overwatch, especially with the new characters that come out. You wanna get a hold of that new toy. Fuck it in its ass.
Well, there's a lot of game hype. It's
Not
funny
really,
that you would
though.
talk
I'm
about
just
butts
joking
when you
about
talk
that.
about
Not
Overwatch. I see
legitimately.
where your mind goes. Hentai is taking over this culture. But
You know what?
with the
I like my
Overwatch
Bridget
character
Manny
updates, with the
hentai.
Overwatch
Tracers
character
over the
updates-
shoulder skin
Loud
thing.
noises.
It's not skin, it's a pose.
I know
Well,
it's a
you
pose.
can't-
And I came on
Okay.
that screen several
Okay,
times.
breaking off from this tangent though, with the Overwatch thing is when they release a new character or say, oh, we're gonna release a new character, they always give us evidence, reason, and a due date for it. Unlike some developers, unlike, Terraria, not telling us at all when it's gonna come out, but keep sending us updates of their weekly progress, which isn't helping us with much, to be honest.
Okay, Overwatch didn't always tell you. Remember Sombra?
Oh boy. Okay, no, but that was great because that was
Okay.
a whole hunt.
Oh,
It
God.
really wasn't a whole hunt. It was more of a little bit of a hunt, and then you stared at a fucking screen for 2 whole months as it slowly uploaded data. Look, Blizzard, I understand that you like getting people involved in your games and everything, but having an ARG that lasts 6 months is not a fucking good idea, dude.
Okay, well keep in mind this is one
back.
of the first new characters coming into the game. And being one of the brand new first new characters coming into the game, of course they're going to have to take a long time to do it because they have to understand how to add things into their own game. That's why it doesn't take nearly as long anymore. Just think about how long it took Doomfist to come out.
Doomfist actually came out, he actually came out in a shorter amount of time than Sombra. Sombra
No,
was the
that's
one
my
that
point.
delayed the
Is that
most.
but they understood how to add in new characters by the time they had Doomfist, by the time they had Orisa. All these characters, they didn't take that long to be added in because of that.
Speaking
Ana
of...
was before Sombra, so they already knew how to add that in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I stopped the noise.
And how long did it take to add Anna? When did they start developing Anna in the first place? For all we know, it could have taken the same time.
Maybe.
Speaking of Arissa, though, I don't know if anyone else thought of this, but did anyone know that she was coming out?
Oh, I knew she was coming out. There was some evidence towards it, although not a lot.
She just kind of popped in.
A lot of the evidence that they were using was pointing in like, hey guys, Doomfist, 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 and then they went Cowboy.
I just saw the whole fucking, broken OR-15 bots, and I'm like, oh cool, Doomfist. And it's like, no, have this huge African centaur with a fucking beam hose.
Okay,
spraying around like the green
She
Fireman.
was one of the best additions to the meta. She kind of broke it, although she has become the current
Whoa,
meta.
what are you talking? Are you talking about pre-Arisa buff?
Pre-Arisa buff. She was in the game, but she wasn't as...
What? What?
Pickable.
Pickable.
She would be picked, and she would be put on teams of comp teams and things, but she wasn't as picked. After the update came out, everything was destroyed. The meta was completely based around Arista comps and things, and it destroyed basically what the game was set out to be, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing. We kind of needed a change in meta, although I think that we need to try to break that now.
Why do you feel like we need to break that now, though?
Because when a game is stuck in the same meta, it gets really boring. Like for me,
the meta is always going to change.
I haven't played Overwatch in a long, long time because of the meta not being that much different recently. So when they start releasing Moira, as they talked about at BlizzCon, I believe that the meta will be changed enough that I'll be able to hop back in and not be bored with
Chris,
it
because she's a little bit like a Symmetra.
That's what I'm a little afraid of. You guys keep saying that it's like a Symmetra.
I mean, Z. Whatever. What?
Nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry. You told me that, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Just play it off, man. Don't fucking do that.
That's probably going to be a little bit loud.
Yeah, well.
Don't worry, that's just the sound of him being abused.
Delete it from the fucking...
It's the sound of my childhood.
Do you just want to delete this part?
I don't care.
You can delete it.
I can delete anything.
Let's stop worrying about deleting parts of the podcast and start continuing to talk about these subjects. So game developments and things like that may have gone wrong. Does anyone else have any stories about a game?
You're sitting there and you're not talking.
For a long time and weren't
developed. You're sitting there in your chair, Michael. You're not even talking.
Without bringing up my old past.
My brain has a hard time coming up with things to talk about.
How about Rick and Morty? How do you guys feel about that?
Scalebound.
Oh, Scalebound. I have no affiliation with Scalebound. I just heard about it once.
You have no affiliation of it, do you?
I don't know what Scalebound is, and I didn't know the game
Scalebound
called
was
Terra
a game that
earlier.
Scalebound was
like Terra's like,
I know what Terraria was. I heard that.
Dota, World of Warcraft. That's what I got from it.
Scalebound was a game that was in development for about 7 years, and just either it was last year or the year before that,
Last year.
the developer canceled it because Microsoft kept pushing for him to make it an online multiplayer game, even though the game literally, I don't think, could have run on the current system with that kind of development process and power into it.
So then
amazing game. Yeah. I had been following it for a good 5 years, I believe, before it was canceled. So that was very heart-wrenching for me personally. God damn Microsoft. Not surprised. But on another note, unless someone else wants to bring something up,
how about stupid school stories?
Stupid school.
Some, and I'm not trying to be insensitive when I say this, but autistic moments you've had in school. Okay, you're like, why the fuck did this happen to me?
Personally,
why is that person just so fucking stupid?
Personally, I mean, back in middle school, so you know how everyone has those special needs kids that are somewhere randomly thrown into their classes. Back in middle school, I had this one rather special fellow, more special than most of the other kids in my class. He needed a lot of help.
He had a lot of chromosomes.
In this class, sometimes we would be at computer stations and we work on these computer stations. And the class was designed to where we would test out different things with like architecture and music and computers and try different things. And this one kid on the computer decided to, in the middle of class, to pull out his genitalia and start masturbating to pornography on the computer in school. Keep in mind, this was years back, so I'm not that surprised that they were able to get into it, but it's more the fact is, how much help do you need from a person watching you to make sure that you aren't masturbating in front of people at school.
And this is why I'm here today.
This isn't a middle school, okay? Keep that in mind.
Either.
Maybe.
Are you telling me right now you found you found a downy that was Hacker Man?
It wasn't.
Get into the porn. Striker Man.
Slamming his dick on the keyboard. He's like, I'm in the system.
No, his dick is the USB port. He fucks the computer, Bailey, right in front of you.
So after
Computer
having
gets
noticed
AIDS.
this, I looked away and I
It's
told my
STDs.
teacher, let's just call this kid Jubles. Okay, Jubles over there was on the computer
Sorry for anybody
going to
named
town
Jubles.
on his junk, and I looked at my teacher. I was like, I just kind of mouthed the word "help me" to her, and she kind of looked over in the direction my hand was pointing, and she went, oh, and she had this face of shock and terror as this kid is just slamming on his junk at the corner, and. She went over to her. She went over to. Sorry if this is offensive to anyone, but to the child's tard guard. And went, hey, will you please take care of Jubles over there? Get him to stop and take him out of the classroom. Oh my god! If someone gets offended by the term that I use, keep in mind this person wasn't watching their kid to notice, as he is searching up porn on a computer and jerking off in school.
Well, you gotta understand, like, if I was in that position, like, guarding that, special needs children or child, and I just saw them whip their dick out, I'm pretty sure that this guy's tard right here.
So I have some pretty interesting experiences with tards.
Well, I've had a few experiences myself recently in high school. This weird chick, she just won't leave me alone.
High school drama?
No, I don't. I want to literally tell her just to go fuck off.
For anybody who's tuning in that is currently in high school and is not a senior or is going into high school from 8th grade, you need to understand that most of the people that you will meet in high school will most likely not talk to you after you graduate. So it's best to just keep high school as a nice, like, long movie that you fuck sandpaper.
Okay, well that isn't completely true. Now you will keep contact with a lot of people.
That's just
from
from my
high
personal
school,
experience, though.
Although, keep in mind, a lot of these people are going to have their own lives, their own things that they're doing, so don't depend on your friends when you get out of high school. You're going to have to find things that you can do yourself. So, on a real life note here, just keep that in mind as you move forward. Don't be afraid to make friends with people that you may not know. It's difficult. Trust me, but if you don't do it, your life's going to be miserable through high school. But that's on a real note now. Now let's take it back to the funny stories. Does anyone else have any story from, like, high school that they want to tell? Because I suggest, if it's at all coming to you, like, even a little bit, it's probably something funny to somebody.
The only thing I can think of is the times I cried in gym. That's about it.
You cried in PE? Why?
I've cried multiple times because I was a sensitive kid.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess, talking on that note about PE, the only time that I think I cried in PE was in middle school. There's always those kids that are like, oh yeah, I'm strong, I'm better than you, and all those kids that have like carry this lot of pride with them in themselves. And one of the kids recommended to the teacher that we use real dodgeballs. They're like wall balls. They're really thickly packed with air.
I've always wanted to use real dodgeballs.
No. And they brought them to class, and we did it. One of the kids that I didn't appreciate very much threw the ball and hit me in my genitalia, and I was on the ground in pain, writhing, right? So as hard, I was hitting the balls. As hard as he could throw it, he hit me there, and I curled up in a ball on the ground after being hit there. It hurt quite a bit, and then everyone proceeded to target the boy on the ground holding his genitalia. I was pelted with about 8 balls before I was dragged off the court, crying. So, middle school kids are terrible. 13-year-olds are terrible. Trust me, I know. I've been around enough of them.
Well, I remember once when I was in school and we had to run laps, which, by the way, is kind of a stupid fucking thing to make kids do, by the way.
Why?
Because I feel like PE in, like, middle school, at least up until maybe 8th grade, it should be at least a little bit more fun filled with activities to get more kids active than want to go, can't believe we have to do the fucking mile. This is stupid.
I believe that physical education has to have running in it. Running it is one of the most healthy things that you can do for your
Yeah,
body.
but I feel like you can integrate running into so many other activities. Though.
I kind of agree.
Having an estimated time makes kids actually, try to work out and get a physical education.
You had
not
kids that just
fun.
didn't really care and that hated doing it.
Yeah, and then they would end up failing the class and get in trouble with their parents, which was the whole point. It's the incentive, because they have to do that. Because every other program every other thing that they do in class, physical activity, there's always going to be people that don't try. There's always going to be people that don't try.
Oh, I know there's
what
not
you
always
do.
going to be people.
Meaning
that
that they had the fun days, and that's what you look forward to. But if they made every day a fun day, then you would never get
when I was going to middle
behavior
school, and if I ran too hard, I would automatically just puke. And well, thing is about that is that we ran outside most of the time, and I remember that I puked so much that I didn't get to class till like 20 minutes into the next class period, and the gym teacher locked me out.
You're running too fast.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. If you're running so hard that you make yourself throw up, then you're running
Bailey,
too hard.
I had asthma, and it really affected how I ran. Yeah, I'm serious.
The PE teacher literally can't make you run so hard you throw up.
Well, I ran.
It's malpractice.
Well, in middle school,
It's illegal.
Our PE teacher, for some reason, anytime like someone would like slow down a little bit or like knock over one of the cones, he's like, okay, 5 more minutes of running.
Oh, he did
I
that.
seriously wanted to slap the shit out of him.
Sometimes
to go an
PE
extra
teachers,
hour.
don't get me wrong, I'm not
Don't
saying
do
all
that.
PE teachers are great teachers. My teacher in 7th grade came to school drunk and got fired because of it.
Your PE teacher?
Nagel.
Nagel?
Yeah, don't say last names.
It doesn't,
They don't know the first name,
It doesn't
so-
matter because
Yeah,
they're
but
not going to actually know
Still,
who
my
he
point is that he got drunk and he smelled of alcohol when he came to school, and he was gone by the middle of the day. But he wasn't teaching anymore after that. But from the teacher that me and you went to the same middle school, me and Z over here, we went to the same middle school, and what ended up happening was understanding your teacher. I'm glad I've never had him, but I also remember that he was kind of a hard ass. He thought that he was better than other teachers, or at least he carried himself that way. And what would end up happening is he would make people run and run and run, but never until they throw up. He said that if you were running so hard to jog, you'll still make the time if you jog, as long as you're running, as long as you're trying. If you walk, you won't. If you jog, you will. If you're running so hard you end up vomiting, you're probably running too hard for yourself.
I had a
Pushing your
problem
body
with
too
that.
fast.
It's not that I was pushing my body, I was running at a very slower pace than most of the other people.
Yeah, you're not necessarily going to be as fast as everyone. That's
Well,
just
I
the
know,
thing.
but I still puked even at a slow jog pace.
No one liked our middle school PE teacher. Everyone wanted to be with Nagel.
I had a
remember that.
female.
He was cool
I had a
until he
female.
came to school drunk.
I
That
had
was scary.
I had a female PE teacher, and she, in all respects, was a bitch.
Oh, that's not in respects, and don't worry. We all had teachers where we're like, oh yeah, you're just a really
It is not
big
it is
bitch.
not my fault that you are lesbian and you don't want to admit it to yourself, so you take your aggression out on the
Hey,
children you're
not
teaching.
every dyke is a lesbian.
I'm
That's
not saying
just
that.
true.
I'm not saying that, but you could definitely tell she was really playing for the other side, and I feel like she had a lot of underlying aggression about it.
Oh,
She
that's
just
getting
wouldn't
pretty
admit-
edgy there.
It's
Oh,
pretty
the edge
pretty-
is real, mate.
Okay,
Oh,
but
that's pretty edgy.
to diverse from the kind of oppressive topics and offensive topics, I was gonna say, if you guys could have any superpower, because this is something I hear about on podcasts a lot. If you could have any superpower, what would you have and why would you have it? And give me an example of a time
power
you
to be
used
Red
it.
Goku.
Red?
I'm gonna just throw something out there right now. I don't know.
I like how
I don't-
everybody just looked at me
I
like, "What the fuck
I
are
like,
you talking
I
All I
like
heard was
anime,
Goku.
but I'm not that big of an
I want to
anime
be Red
fan.
Goku."
I'm an anime fan, but I'm not that big of an anime fan, so
There's
you
like
guys
two
gonna
Red
have to
Gokus.
explain to me if it's an anime power. Weeaboos.
Okay, I watched lots of Dragon Ball.
Have
All
you
of
been
it.
caught up? If you've been watching episode, what is it, 190? Who fucking cares of Dragon Ball Super now? You know, fucking Goku has a brand new ability.
Why?
It's called-
Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, it's super fast.
Hey D-Man, why you looking at me with that shit? You know I just said that I don't watch anime.
Bailey, I walked into your room the other night and you were fucking your Goku body pillow.
Goku body. Why would I buy a Goku body pillow?
You like his
Pillow.
black hair.
You know that.
How it
You know
pokes you
that
in the eyes.
Gohan is where it's at.
No, it's
actually, last night I
Vegito.
was watching My Hero
Yeah.
Academia,
My
and that
Hero
was more because
Academia.
some anime I do get into, majority-wise I don't. If a series goes on for longer than I think I put my cap at about 56 episodes. That's when I'm like, okay, maybe I need to take a step back.
It's not 56 episodes, man. You would really hate One Piece.
I don't watch One Piece. I don't watch Naruto. I do not watch Boruto.
One Piece is okay to be quite honest. I really like Luffy as a whole fucking character because
Stretchy man.
yeah, stretchy.
He's just Mr. Elastic as a pirate.
He's Mr. Fantastic with a pirate. He's with
Fantastic
a little
in what he
extra,
does.
little extra art.
Wait, okay, no, but legit, do you think that Luffy can grow his dick?
Let's
Most
go.
likely.
Let's go back to the superpowers because I have no idea what we're talking about. I don't watch that anime. I don't do any of that. I don't.
Okay,
I'm getting left out.
Before we move back, let me bring up something that you probably can understand. Okay, Luffy ate a fruit when he was younger, or I'm not sure how it works. It's One Piece. I don't watch it, as I just said, but he can stretch his arms and his limbs and stuff and make his body all stretchy. So my question is, do you think that his dick is stretchable like that? Can he make it longer?
It's been proven. It's been proven in the anime.
He can.
At least as far as I know, from what I remember,
Tentacle dick.
There was like one part. There was like
Probably
one
wouldn't be
part.
that much fun because it'd be
It was
super
like-
flaccid the more it stretches.
I think I remember
Wait,
one
if he
episode where
stretched out and
Luffy's
then got
like,
hard.
where some girl grabs Luffy's
probably
dick
shrink
and then
back
she
down.
kind of just starts pulling like a fucking rope.
Wait, but if he stretched it out, can he only stretch it out when it's flaccid?
No, we can stretch it out when it's hard and use it
How
like
do you
a
know
fucking
that?
lightsaber.
How do you know that?
I watched enough hentai.
I've
seen enough
hentai
hentai
to know where
I've
this
seen-
So
I know
hentai is canon now.
Yeah, it is. It is very
Oh,
canon. It's
okay.
like it comes out, like pokes you in the eye, and that's how it kills you. It just looks at you. It's like a gun. It, like
Okay,
straight through your
cannons
blood.
can
guys,
poke you.
I have another question. Is hentai only when it's anime? Because hentai is a Japanese thing. Is that only when it's anime?
There's
Or
two
what
different
about
types.
when it's cartoons?
Well, then it
That's
wouldn't
Like
be hentai.
Americanized cartoons.
But that's Rule 34.
No,
Specifically.
Rule 34 has hentai
Well,
in it.
it's just
though.
called cartoon porn.
So my
for
question is, it's
Americanized
just called
ones. That's
cartoon
from what I-
porn.
from
It's
what
not
I-
called
my
hentai
experience.
anymore.
No, hentai is only for those people.
For the anime.
The
Yep.
anime.
Okay,
Anime.
How about
So-
how about this topic?
Wait,
Stupid things
wait.
we've seen on YouTube and
Wait.
or
Wait,
didn't say
bring
my
it
superpower.
back. Okay,
Yeah.
the superpower thing that we brought up that went to the One Piece thing. If you guys could have any superpower, what would it be? Go!
I'd be invisible. I like invisible. I like being sneaky, and I like looking at people when they don't know I'm there.
the power.
Well, now give me an example when you use it.
When I'd use it, I'd probably use it for evil. To be honest, I'd steal things.
Oh,
I'd
no, specific example.
specific, probably video games. I don't know.
Video game. You go
I
walk
just-
into Bimart and be like, mine.
Yeah,
mine,
and then they'd
mine.
just see a floating video game just walk out, and they'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Bitch, you thought it was Bimart? It's mine, Mart.
It's all my Mart,
My
man.
mark is my mark.
Or I could probably just play tricks on people. I'd go in, I'd steal keys and just do shit. I'd do intercom, my funny intercom.
think what
Alright, that's nice. Now it's
Yeah.
your turn.
I said Red Goku.
Red Goku. Now explain.
I'm joking. I think it would be regeneration.
Regeneration. Now give me an example when you
Like
use
dick
that.
regeneration.
No,
But wait,
not dick.
the whole
Like just
point-
like you can just once you're done, you just
come back
just
for the
redo it.
littlest piece of blood.
Wait, but what do you mean by regeneration? That means your body would never die because you always regenerate cells.
Well,
You would never die.
Wouldn't that be like
age.
Wolverine?
Yeah.
a little bit.
Or Deadpool.
Or
Better
Deadpool.
like Deadpool.
Don't slam your phone on the
I
desk. It
can't.
makes
That's
the-
my dick, not my phone.
I'm looking at your.
I'm sorry. That's a rather hard dick to be talking about Goku and regeneration power.
Plus, we're all guys
Are you
here.
sure
We're
you're
gay.
not the one with the Goku body
Oh, what
pillow?
are you gay?
I've had so much sex with my body pillow it stands up on its own now.
Oh God. Z, you say your power. Go.
Well, I think it would be something like I can just like I wish it and it happens.
So like
So,
make yourself like your self genie.
Like
Fuck, am I
Jiraiya,
trying to
self-genie.
say?
Jiraiya.
Self
Jiraiya.
genie.
Are you
No,
saying
no.
that he wants to be a genie?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, Pokemon
But
don't
he
have
works for
needs or
himself.
wants. So
Well, I know,
if
but
you,
I
if
said
you make
almost
a
like
wish,
that.
so
Pokemon
if you
don't
think
have
something
needs or
comes into
wants.
existence, your idea,
Yes.
so you want to be God.
I mean, that's a superpower.
No, because then you
it's
can,
overpowered.
Because technically you can take that and be like, I wish I had regenerative powers.
Exactly.
I wish no one
That's
else
the
had
equivalent
these
of saying I
abilities.
had unlimited wishes. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
That's cheating.
Actually, you have the ability. You're born with
Bailey,
one
you didn't let me.
wish.
You didn't
one
give me.
for anything.
You didn't
and
tell me
more
how I
wishes
would
you
use
can.
my power.
Well, okay, but this was brought up because we went on a rant. Now continue. How would you use your power of
It saved
regeneration?
people from a terrorist organization.
What terrorist organ? Which one?
ISIS.
ISIS?
ISIS.
Oh, damn it! You mean Goat Fuckers International?
I'm joking. They're actually disbanded now, as far as I know.
To be a
Our
little
capital
less.
city was
At least if you
recently
get
taken
beheaded, you'll
over.
just come back and they'll be like, "What the fuck?" Just infinitely beheading you, getting super distracted.
You can't.
To be a little less like OP plus nerf.
More like heads down.
I'd probably
stop.
most people would probably be like, "Oh, this would be terrible," but I'd live forever.
Why would you
I'd
want to
be
forever?
immortal.
That's
And
kind of a
Wait,
dumb
when
power.
you say immortal, give me some specifics on what you mean. Because immortal in body and mind, or immortal in like you're immortal for as long as you don't get murdered.
If
There's
you're-
a difference there.
the second one you
ask
said.
So if you got murdered, you die.
Yes.
Does that mean you still grow old?
If
Or-
you ask,
Well, no, his
No.
body. No,
It would just
actually,
stay- it
no,
would stay the
immortal does
same.
not mean your body stays the same because your body would still be growing older. You wouldn't become decrepit and die from old age, but you would still become an older man.
why?
And the
No,
reason
if you ask for immortality, what if you outlive everyone and then the sun explodes? Do you just die there?
Yeah, he would.
Yeah,
because he
it's
dies
like-
of murder.
Because he
Yeah.
can die of exactly.
If
Cool.
there is okay, but the thing is when you also say immortal, does that mean that if you went out into space, if you ate a poisonous food, you would die? You're immortal. You can't die of old age. That's your point.
You're immortal
Yeah,
to
That's your ability. That's
dying.
it. You can
yeah,
die
exactly.
at anything else, but
Nice.
if you can't die from old age.
Yeah.
You get hit by a car too hard, you're dead.
What about cancer?
Cancer?
no, because it's
Well, actually,
it's like
no.
human.
That would still kill you.
Well,
Because if your body is living forever, eventually your body will
Stop
mutate and
shaking the
create cancer.
TV thingy.
You need to
wait,
stop.
so you'd
Stop
become
shaking
wait.
the music stand.
so in
shaking
that
your
sense,
dick.
would you almost like become like a less powerful Deadpool?
No,
No,
you become a mediocre dead.
because you can make the cancer will happen to your body and you'll die from the cancer.
True.
You can still die from it. You just age a lot slower than anyone
a lot of
else.
people die
What a
from
waste of
cancer.
power.
cancer is actually more of a.
Well, no, I mean it's just
cancer
like longer
pops up
life.
a lot more usually after I'm
If you
done
can
watching Filthy
live
Frank.
long enough.
After living for a long period of time, after a while you'll die no matter what.
True.
The thing is when people say cure cancer, I don't think you can honestly cure cancer. From what I have as an understanding of cancer as a senior in high school, cancer is the cellular mutation of your genetics in your body. So generally, as long as you are reproducing cells, you will get cancer eventually. You cannot cure cancer, you can combat it.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are like holding these "let's cure breast cancer awareness" things like that, I don't think you can actually
Save
cure
the
it as much
titties.
as fight against it.
Save
I know
the
you're
boobies.
wrong. I want to cure cancer as much as anyone else. That's like the human condition. You can't really cure it.
You guys feel like Twilight's a broken movie because like this guy named Edward Cullen.
Vampires
Edwards.
can't have sex.
Also, like, does anybody else realize that he's like thousands of years old, but he intends on like hanging around high school kids?
Yeah, it's kind of fucking creepy. He's like an old pedophile.
You know that whole time he could have spent like having
just
the
a
cure to
pedophile.
cancer or like benefiting
Also,
something.
guys, can we talk about this for a second? Why the fuck would she want to have sex with this man? He has like frozen hot dog dick if it ever got hard.
Frozen
Otherwise,
hot
then
dog
it's
dick.
just like really cold, wet hot dog dick.
I
The
mean,
thing about it
I'm
is,
sure
like,
he gets
after
warm
years
after
and years
human
and years,
contact.
after years and years and years of existence, if you're not like actually alive, your blood isn't flowing.
Bailey,
and
but
you
you
wouldn't
also-
have the blood to make your
But
dick
Bailey,
get hard.
you also have to understand that she becomes vampire in movie 4.
No, that doesn't mean anything.
But
A
they
vampire
have-
can't get an erection.
They fuck,
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't make sense.
but they have baby.
That doesn't make sense.
When I was in
How are you, explain anatomy to me? If you're dead, your blood is not flowing. Your blood will eventually go dry. Meaning you literally could not get a hard on.
You telling me vampires can't fuck?
Vampires couldn't fuck. They couldn't make children either
Just steal
because
the
your
blood
body.
from someone else. They're
when
a
you get cold
vampire.
enough, your sperm
What
dies.
about Dracula?
Suck the dick blood.
What
and
about Dracula?
just suck dick
Bailey,
blood.
what about Dracula having kids?
Dracula isn't real.
What about Alucard?
Alucard? Alucard
Alucard?
couldn't have children
It's
either.
like saying Santa Claus isn't real. You're lying.
Fucking Easter Bunny running around my house shitting out candy eggs and shit.
Don't you guys love it when you wake up on Easter morning and you find Jesus with bunny ears and he goes, "Praise me," and then you beat him to death because it's fucking Muhammad from down the street breaking in your house?
Who named their son Muhammad? We're gonna have Goat Fuckers International up here real quick.
Goat Fuckers International is so a topic that
One topic that I
wanted
Archer's
to talk
gonna
about
come kick your ass.
was the first first experience on YouTube and weird recommended YouTube videos.
Fuck am I supposed to remember that? First experience.
Think about the
Your
weirdest
earliest-
video you've seen and then
your
back.
earliest memory of being on YouTube.
An early memory would be fucking this one guy showing me something at my grandpa's house.
You were
fucking was
fucking a guy?
Yeah, I could,
Fucking this one guy.
Yeah, I was
That's who you
fucking this
started
one
with.
guy, and he was showing the fucking like scary pop-up videos, and I used to hate those so much,
Those
like
scary
jump scare
names.
videos.
I went over.
Those scarred me to death. Or I'd be like looking at subliminal messages and be like, get closer to it. All right, get closer. Boo! Ah! I fucking
I
hate
remember
those so much. Fucking yeah.
I
Fucking,
knew this one kid who
That's
actually
something.
lived up the street
Jesus.
from our house, and he invited me over to go over to his friend's house, and his friend had this really cool like PC, and this was in I think the mid 2000s, not mid 2000s, but like maybe early 2010s or 2011s, and I went over to his house and he showed me this website called Newgrounds, and he showed me this fucking 300 animation of these guys like talking about their spears, and they were all naked. And we were all watching this, and I kind of got up and walked out of the room because I kind of got really uncomfortable. And then he proceeded to show us like a hentai of Teen Titans.
All right, so you're gonna be talking
Zone
about.
Sama?
You're gonna be talking.
Yeah, it was Zone before I actually knew who she
Oh,
was.
boy.
I knew.
Yes.
I know. I remember. It was Zone before I knew who she was, and then I think a few years later, me and Bailey found Zone TV, and
Zone,
then he
Zone News.
and then you stopped watching it. I kept watching it.
I stopped watching it because I found out what it was.
Zone.
Well, hey, so what were you thinking about? You don't want to know. What was it? Furry people.
No, that video.
I don't think I've seen that video.
I have. It's on YouTube.
That's
funny.
that's part of the animation. I found that on Newgrounds.
Mm.
Oh wait, is it Zone? Is it
Yeah, Zone.
Oh wait,
it's like the Teen Titans.
You know,
wait, is it like
without
out of
going into
context shorts that
without
she posts?
going into a lot of detail, it's
I
at the
think so.
very end of the Jinx and Cyborg video.
I
If
only
you've
watched.
ever
I'm
gone on
sorry.
Newgrounds
I'm
and
sorry.
found
I don't
Zone Sama.
like. I don't really
That was a good
find.
one.
I don't really find the Teen Titans.
I
one.
didn't even know.
I don't
that,
find
but
it
okay.
hot because it's like.
I don't.
It's like,
I'm
all
not
Teen
gonna
Titans
guilt
I
you.
like-
are like they're not curvy. They're all just like thin little twigs, and it's. I don't want.
That's true. That's
don't wanna
just
fuck a twig,
generally true.
But I get why people fap to it because it's attractive to them because they want to fuck a twig. Speaking of
I just want to fuck nature.
Speaking of YouTube recommended, I remember last night while I was scrolling through YouTube and I was referenced to a video that said man eats entire deer alive. And this when I was watching a video about Undertale. And I didn't watch the video, but just to know that video exists and it was also recommended from Undertale.
It's recommended.
Did you have a recommended video?
Oh yeah. Okay, let's get into context about this because I think I told D-Man over here a little bit of information about it on the way over to making this podcast in the undisclosed location that we are at.
We live in Nevada.
It's totally not like some basement in the
We live in
abandoned
Nevada.
house in Nevada. Don't
Sure,
worry how we got
basement.
internet.
We live in
Oh.
Reno, California.
Whoops, that sounded bad.
We live in Texas, California. We live in
God
New
damn
York,
it, Harvey!
Buffalo.
Why are you talking about?
We live in Buffalo Wild Wings, New York.
Okay, to get back on the subject though, the other day I think I was watching a video about Cuphead, you know, that game that recently came out. And I in the recommended, I was looking at the random recommended videos that get recommended to me, and sometimes I watch stuff about religion and things like that because I find it interesting. Without going into too much detail about that stuff though. I found a video about a preacher talking about how religion is affecting games and video game culture, and how God is talking to us as God's children about how video games, he's talking to game developers and making game developers put things about religion into video games, and that's why we're finding biblical things in video games nowadays. And I have watched this video from start to finish, and I have never sat through enough bullshit in my life to learn how to deal with this.
I think that dude needs a tard guard.
Bringing it back, huh? What were you
like-
gonna say, Mick?
I feel like the priest he goes and talks to
Lost
should
track.
stop touching him while he watches fucking Mario cartoons from the early 90s. Maybe that
The
way
guy
he
had a
won't
very
feel so
heavy
bad about
accent
himself.
from undisclosed location that I couldn't understand or find personally.
Hello. Today we talk about Christianity in video
Just to clear it up,
games.
I'm pretty sure he was Catholic because he just said God's children. He didn't say what religion affiliation he was. Just
God's-
some branch.
How do you
believing
Bailey?
in
Okay,
God.
now you're being religious.
That's just called derogatory.
trademarked.
D-man.
Religious.
If you can't handle this stuff, then you shouldn't watch the rest of this, because further on are going to get a lot
offensive.
worse.
We just kind of gave up on the not being offensive.
Who the fuck
Mick
cares?
just brought in an abortion clinic.
It's better. It's either I'm totally uncensored or I just have to stay quiet.
Have you guys ever made those really cringy jokes in front of your friends at school? Like, the other day I was staring at one of my friends and I was, like, rubbing an eraser on my face, and, like, there was no point to it. It was just because I was, like, spacing out. And she looked at me and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm trying to erase my parents' mistakes."
That's a good one. That's
also, I was just asking if you guys had done anything like that, because I made some really cringy jokes, and, like, they aren't supposed. It's for the shock value of them. I don't believe in those things. It's more like, hey, I wonder how people react to it.
So here's something that I watched the other day from one of my favorite YouTube channels, and it's called Down the Rabbit Hole, and they covered a video about something called the Mouse Utopia experience, the Mouse Utopia experiment, and it was really fucked up, but also kind of made me kind of spooked. And it was by this. It was like it wasn't an etymologist. It was like an ethiologist or an ethnologist. I think it was like an ethnics. He studied ethnics. His name was like John B. Calhoun, and his whole experiment was about the behavioral sink and overpopulation. So he basically constructed this thing where he took a bunch of mice just to see what would happen, and there was 4 phases, and I can't remember, but like the last one was death, and the whole end result is that females basically are fucked, and also males end up becoming these very John B. Calhoun dubbed like the last surviving males the beautiful ones, because they had no interest in fucking, and the only thing they wanted to do was groom, sleep, shit, and eat. They had no interest in continuing their species, and he constructed this like whole building for these mice, and he would use a lot of these. He would, like, at the very top would be like the nests, and he called these things apartments, and like down below they had all of, like, they had entertainment. I think he put entertainment, or he put like food and like places for where the rats would stay, and he saw like these very similarities between people and cities compared to like mouses in the setting. And well, his whole report, I think he was a little bit out of his mind, because although biologically we're very similar to mice and rats, but I don't think that, you know, a behavioral thing could actually happen to us, because the whole end result was anarchy. It ended up switching to like 4 different groups fighting against each other. Also, there was a lot of rape that happened between the rats. Like a lot.
You're not incorrect. A lot of what human beings do, instead of making factions, is we do have war with each other, and we do end up fighting a lot. And it does start out as anarchy when you drop random people into a group. I think Lord of the Flies and a lot of books explore that topic of like the human condition and
Why
things.
don't you just call it PUBG?
PUBG? No. That's
PUBG
different.
Is the final human condition.
That is organized.
That's how we solve overpopulation.
What normally ends up happening with people is that you'll drop them in. They'll try to discern a leader, because they believe that if you discern a leader and you take people that have no understanding of culture and things, and they're like, all right, so who is the strongest person here? That is how we determine it. The strongest person is oftentimes going to be the first person who leads.
Sounds like prison rules.
And later on, well, that's truly a good example of it.
Really
That's
is.
what the general human condition is. Is whoever is strongest is the person in lead, even without saying, because everyone else is scared of them. We rule through fear. That is our basic human condition.
So,
also, but moving from that's a serious topic. I just wanted to ask one more thing about video games before we move on to more serious things. Do you believe that when you abuse a glitch in a video game, you're cheating? When you use a glitch in a video game to your benefit, even if it's a single-player game, do you believe that
I
is
called
a
you
cheating
cheating when you were playing on that with Stardew Valley, but it really seems like you're cheating if you're getting every
No, what do
item.
you mean by cheating? What makes it
It's
cheating?
like duplicating in the 360 days of Minecraft.
Yeah, I know.
Remember
That
that?
wasn't called cheating.
Being
That was
able to
just playing the
duplicate-
game.
Yeah.
If someone gives you a
You need to
glitch,
talk, Mick.
if someone puts a glitch...
Z and Mick, you both need to talk.
Hey,
Me
they've been
I'm
adding
so
it as
focused
much
on
as
the
they
crackling
can.
of the chair and the bouncing of the bed and the slapping of the fucking dick on the desk and that. It's like, this is gonna fucking pick up everything. I need to get better seating spots next time. That's all I'm thinking about.
That's alright. Just come into the conversation, think about this. Have you ever abused a glitch in a video game?
Oh, all
I try
the time.
not to.
Do you think of it as cheating when you do it yourself?
I mean, unless, like, I don't know. I mean, To be honest, when I was younger, I used to abuse glitches a lot. Well, I wouldn't even call them glitches. I'd call them cheats. I used to abuse cheats a lot, so like in Grand Theft Auto and shit like that.
I like to.
I don't do
No,
that
I
anymore.
like to call them-
I know that's not
I like to call them
Those are
glitches
actually-
women because I abuse them.
Those are
are put in the
actually
game.
called cheats.
Yeah.
Glitches
So I
are
can't
things
really
that
think
you
of
find
it.
in the
Nobody's
game that
fucking
aren't
goes
meant to
past
be
that.
there, but you can use them.
Yeah.
I think about it that way when you when you think about finding a glitch and you spent the time and you found what you can do with it and you do those kinds of things. I don't count that as cheating. That's something you took time and invested into. That's not the same thing. A cheat is something that literally is like you put in the game yourself or you found out about that is meant to be cheating. When I found the glitch in Stardew Valley and I used it to find and get any item I want, I believe that's completely fair. That's something that you found yourself and you did.
When it comes to modern games, I say if
You're
they don't
abusing
patch
it.
it, then I can use it. As
Yeah,
long as it's
kinda.
not patched, I can use it. You know,
But
it's fair game.
But the thing is I don't. If I find a glitch in a multiplayer online game or a multiplayer game in general, I don't use it. I'll
See,
normally.
I try to
report
get
it,
everyone
'cause I
to
find
stop
that
doing
to
it.
be
Is that why?
cheating.
Is that why I came to your house and you were like, they need to fix this so I can use it? So that's why you started getting a bunch of No Man's Sky copies and like making a fire out of them. I'll use it the right way if they patch it.
He's dancing around.
Hey, they actually got.
Oh, Daddy.
From what I heard, they're actually patching their game up a lot. They've gotten
Dude,
a lot of
Sean
updates, a lot of
Dude,
good updates.
Dude, I want Sean Murray
Haven't
to
played it,
direct
but-
Z's autobiography.
No,
Life of Z, and it's directed by Sean Murray.
No, please, dear God.
And basically,
no.
what happens is that Z wakes up and then he dies.
over and over again. Happy Death Day.
It was just like
Hey, that was
that
an okay
Gopher
movie,
movie,
That-
the Gopher Day.
That's what I've heard,
You-
but
you
honestly,
keep
when I
reading
saw the
all
trailers,
over
I
and
was
over
really
movie.
disappointed.
If you wanna go see it on a discount day, and if you're a little drunk or a little stoned and you feel like laughing at something, then you watch that. But if
I
you-
mean, the movie, from what I've heard, is that at least it knows what it is. It makes a reference to Groundhog's Day. That's
Yeah.
what I've been told. And if it makes a reference
end
to
of the
Groundhog's Day,
fucking
at
movie.
least it's accepting what it is. Like it knows its condition. It knows that it's not really its own movie. It knows that it's just supposed to be a joke and no one's taking it seriously. And I believe as long as that's what it's doing, then it's fair. Then it's a good movie. But if it was like trying to deny and make like, oh, I'm my own movie. I'm not copying anything else. I'm not a joke or a parody or
Chris,
something of someone else.
Z.
Are we discussing about a fake movie about Z, or did I lose track?
No. We went. He said, "Oh," and he wakes up and he dies. And I said,
Yeah,
"Oh,
and I
so
was
like
like,
Happy
see,
Death
okay,
Day."
yeah.
With
Z,
yeah,
you
what?
wake up one day and you hear a knock at the door, and so you go outside and there's a package, and it says from your
my
best friend.
package.
You open it up,
Yeah.
and it's a fan fiction about you fucking Sean Murray, and it's over 30 pages.
You know,
How do you feel about that, Z? How do you feel about that?
I don't want to
It doesn't
feel
feel.
about that.
Too bad. Sean Murray comes up behind you and rips
Dear-
your
dear
asshole
God.
open a new one.
Oh,
He rips your asshole open, a new one.
Yes.
You mean he rips you a new asshole?
Yeah. It's like a
Erection.
separate asshole
Ugh.
on his butt cheek. Like another asshole on his butt cheek so he can shit twice as fast.
Probably
Clear out those
spend most of
bowels.
the time just saying how good he is, but then in the end, it's just like,
You ever seen
Ha ha,
like a
I
tic
laugh.
tac.
You ever seen
Yeah.
Radio Show?
Tic
and then he
tac
just
tic.
runs. He's like out, takes your money and just runs. He overpromised.
I feel like Sean Murray.
He disappears for
I
2
feel like,
months. He's
I
the
feel like
worst
if
father.
Sean Murray was an actual, like, mythical creature, he'd be a leprechaun.
He keeps telling you, I got gold, and you go to the end of the rainbow and you see it's like a little pot. It's like 2 pieces of gold. He's like, well, I didn't lie.
two
Yeah.
pieces of gold, and then you take them, and it's just shit
Mick.
covered in like gold
Mick.
paint.
What?
What was one game that you were really anticipated for this year?
One game? Well, let's see. I got 3 games this month: Shadow of War, South Park, and Wolfenstein.
And
Two.
okay, get it. Your favorite
Yeah, but which one
was
was
Period Simulator.
Which one was my
2017.
favorite? Or-
Which was the game you were most hyped for?
Oh, Shadow
And then-
of War.
And then which game disappointed you the
Speaking
most?
of Shadow of War, I've actually been
Like-
watching gameplay of it, and I'm actually starting to get a little more interested with it.
I 100% in Shadow of War. I got all the
No,
trophies.
wait.
So good.
So, what was the most disappointing game, though? Like, it came out and you were like, oh, this is going to be great, and then it wasn't living up to its expectations. Even though it was good.
Wait.
Was it not good enough?
I think if I would have to say a game for me this year, it'd probably have to be Destiny 2. And let me tell you right now, if I'm able to go on my fucking VCR 1, or as Xbox or Microsoft calls it, the Xbox One, and I can go play Fortnite Battle Royale, and that's more of a complete game, and it gives me more fulfillment, even though I don't progress whatsoever, up until this point. On this current date, the current way to play Fortnite is that you can level up right now. I don't know if they'll change that, but if I'm able to get more fulfillment playing a game that's free to play rather than a game that I spend that I had somebody buy for $90, isn't that right, Nick?
You're welcome.
Birthday, I love having birthday gifts. Also, Mick, do you wanna tell the podcast audience why you bought me that game that day? And
wow, you
what
snaking
happened?
him out here.
Oh.
Well, okay.
Tell them the story
before
of what
we get
you did,
into a
Nick.
serious thing, and we can bring it back to that if he feels comfortable telling it. But for right now,
it's the only thing I can talk about.
But for right now, what I wanted to mention was about Destiny 2. D-Man over here was the one who had countless arguments with me on why Destiny 2 is going to be better, and Destiny 2 is going to be
better.
a good game, and Destiny 2 is going to make me happy, and the story there is going to be good.
Well,
the best thing I can say about Destiny 2 is Devin's having this D-Man over here. Now we know why he's called D-Man. Was telling me
that's what you fucking get.
Is having the same experience that I had with Destiny 1, where since it was lacking the story and it was lacking a lot of things, I wasn't having that much fun with it. The only thing I had fun with it was when I would play with my friends. And that was the best thing about Destiny 1.
Player-wise, it wasn't really fulfilling.
Destiny 2, for me, was doing that same thing, except it gave me a story. Give me enough to actually be enthralled in, even though, the story definitely was not the best story. It still wasn't.
It was the best story. You telling me that...
It was the best story out of Destiny 1 or Destiny 2, if that's what you're saying.
The cutscenes were very
You're telling me that Final Fantasy VII's plotline is better than Destiny 2?
No, because I've never played a Final Fantasy game and I don't plan to.
Well, it's actually, a lot of you could get crucified now if you said you've never played Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, well,
I played a little bit of 15 on the PS4.
Okay, I'm 17. What do you want from me?
To play Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, when I'm out of high school and I have time.
You have time now.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
okay, but otherwise,
Boku no Hero.
Moving past that, Boku no Hero Academia is pretty good. Makes me want some almonds. Continue.
What?
Don't ask. Continue.
Gravity Girl's best girl, Frog Girl sucks.
Now you can be crucified.
Midoriya is a little.
Okay, but does anyone else have any stories or anything they want to talk about? Come back to Mick over here. Why did you end up having to buy Destiny 2 for him?
Well, because it was his birthday. That's the end of the story. I didn't feel bad because I did something, and okay, well, this is what happened. We're working together. We're working at a place. It was the final day of the work. My parents or my mom usually goes to pick him up. We went there. I think I came a little bit later because he was I guess you waited outside or something.
I waited outside. You texted me the day before and told me, be out there between 7:27 and 7:45. And so I woke up and I'm like, yeah, it's the last day of work. And I get fucking...
I gotta go to the water place.
Go white water rafting. And
fucking hated it.
So I fucking walked outside at 7:25 and I sat right next to the fucking sign next to my house, and you didn't even show up between the time you said to be out there and the time I go inside to take a whiz. You pop up and you don't even knock on the door.
Yeah, I was just I was asking people, I was like, should I go and knock at the door? I don't want to wake anyone up. That's what we were thinking. We're like, Mr. O, Mr. Oreo, fucking, he didn't say anything. And my mom's like, I don't know.
Oreo is a fucking twat waffle, though.
I don't talk to him that much.
You know Oreo. Speaking of Oreo, I have some stories that we could probably tell about Oreo. I remember one time when he came over to my house. You weren't there at this time, Mick, but it's still kind of a funny story. We were over at our house, and because I medicate. Fuck it, I'm just gonna say it because
he smokes the devil's.
I smoke. I inject one weed into my urethra every day. That's how you inject THC, guys. That's how you get stoned. You take one weed and you inject it through your pee hole.
Has nothing to do with the rock?
No. But what happened was that he was coming over to smoke because, Oreo was a really good friend of mine. And what happened was Bale right over here was with his friends, and
who was also named Oreo.
He has also a friend named Oreo, and Oreo 2, Oreo _2 is kind of good at rapping, although he's white.
Yeah, most of us are white. Sorry, you live in suburbia.
Well, of course. Well, anyways.
That doesn't mean we aren't in poverty.
But the Oreo guy that I knew, he was like, "Yo, guys, I can rap." And well, Bale, can you take it from here and what his rapping was, because I wasn't out there to hear this.
All right. So from my understanding, my friend Oreo _2 over here, he's not the best at freestyling, but he enjoys doing it, so he tries. So, and he has spent about, at this point he had spent about 2 weeks doing it. Now he's spent more time, obviously, but I haven't heard of it recently, how good he's gone. But he was decent. Like, a lot of his rapping was just, like, stupid stuff, but, like, that was the whole point, is that it was freestyling, so he would go from subject to subject to subject to subject randomly without assortment or understanding of it. But Oreo, the one that D-Man is talking about, came out and was listening to us and was like, yeah, I can do that too. So they started, and Oreo _2 and Oreo, big man Oreo over here, thought that he was like, okay, so we're going to rap together. And so they were doing it, and how he started it was going 1, 2, 3, yo, 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 passing it over to little O. And that's all the thing that he added. And then anytime he would pass it back, he's like, bitches, hoes, bitches.
Can I also
hoes,
add right now?
Oh, and pass it back. That's all that he would do.
Can I also add right now that Oreo actually hadn't smoked before this. He legitimately walked into the house completely sober, without under the influence of anything, and in his sober, like, I don't want to say sane mind, thought that that's what freestyling sounded like. I'm sorry, but do you ever see the Eminem show?
I've seen the Eminem show.
Have you seen? You remember that one part where those guys are like rap battle, and that guy goes, and he like bounces up and down. He's like, I'm done. See, that's what fucking Oreo was doing.
Pretty much.
And
That's
I'm like,
exactly what he was doing.
And then he proceeded to smoke, and then we proceeded to smoke. And another friend of mine was actually at my house because I wanted them to all, be buddy and hang out. And then he proceeded to, and then my dad came in and proceeded to yell at him because he was making the whole house smell like dank marijuana.
I was gonna say, I remember you telling me the story where he just left the door open.
Why?
And then he kept leaving the door open.
Yeah,
or
he
something,
kept running in and out like a fucking idiot.
Yep.
And also, we should also mention the story of how Oreo acted like a child here, right in front of you.
Oh yeah, it was pretty fun. I was like, hey guys, let's go watch Get Out. It's a good movie. Let's go watch Get Out. You guys just come over.
Wait, before we
wait. Stuff happened before you came over.
I'll do that, but before that, Z has something to say.
Yeah.
Z. You wake up one day, you find Goku right in front of you, and he's like, imagine a fighter for me to fight.
Well, I don't know what you would do, but I'd fuck him and then leave him for dead. Now continue.
And then Goku is Sean Murray. Sorry.
Why? Why?
Goku versus Sean Murray.
Because we know that you love
Goku dies because he's so pissed off that this game doesn't work. Sean Murray made him. Okay, what are you gonna say, Z?
Apologize.
I want to tell you the story of a guy that we have nicknamed Meatball.
Meatball?
No one else knows.
Meatball? Did he flash you?
No.
Did he flash his dick out?
So
wiggling
I play airsoft sometimes with some of my other friends, and we were just just eating, and then we see this big guy, this big African American, and then he was just.
Are you gonna say big Nigerian?
No. Okay, so this big African American guy. When you say big, you mean like big
chubby,
bone, or do you mean so he's like a chode of a man?
Is he like?
Or is he like tall?
No. Is he like Fat Albert?
Meatball. He's a meatball.
Is he Fat Albert? Is he like Fat Albert?
Kinda, but so I think it was this guy's birthday, right? Because there were other kids there, and they were getting ready to play and whatnot.
You
and then
guy. Is he a kid or a guy?
A kid. So this kid
he's
then.
a fat kid.
Yes. So this
Little
kid.
meatball boy.
Fat fuck kid. He's a fat fuck kid.
So they were about ready to play one of the games, right? And
Like
this kid is like
fat kids over here.
sitting on the ground, not wanting to move at all.
Yeah.
And the other kids are like, "Come on, there's a play, Jeff." I don't fucking know what his name is.
He's gonna look at you and he's gonna be like, "I'm coming," and he starts playing. It's gonna be like Rock of Ages over here, where he just starts rolling down the hill at you.
Such a good
No,
game.
it was bad. The kid.
The kids start running and it just.
No, the kid literally told his friends that he wanted to leave.
What?
Fucking leave.
Yeah, okay, roll on out of here, big boy.
No, because this kid's mom was like the only ride. He dictated everything. He called his mom.
Did you shoot him?
No. Well, no, we couldn't because they didn't even play.
Yeah, make big boy squeal.
Then, what happened?
Go on.
What happened is he's so goddamn lazy. He made his mom pick up all his garbage.
Oh my god.
And then they left.
I don't care if he's not
Dude,
playing.
that's a future. That's a future neat right there. That is a future neat right there.
And everyone's has a story.
That's the type of guy. Like that's the type of guy when he turns 18, he doesn't really act like an adult, and he has like Cheeto Puff stuck between his fat rolls at home.
Just pulls it out. He's like, "Dude, guys, got a whole Taco Bell crunchy taco."
He looks over and he screams up the basement stairs. Give me tendies. You guys,
I want to spend my good boy points.
Bale, don't you have any Chuck E. Cheese stories about our brother?
No, not really.
I mean, what about that one time where our brother, like, I think got into a fight with a kid? It, like, punched him in the face. Don't remember? Okay, for context, people who are listening, me and Bale have our brothers, and we have a third one. And a long time ago, and this is just a short little funny Chuck E. Cheese story that I heard.
Clarify what D-Man was trying to say. Me, Bale, D-Man are brothers. We have a younger brother.
We have a younger brother, and he's a little...
Me and Bale are brother and Thirst 3.
And one day, our little brother went to Chuck E. Cheese, and there was this kid who kind of pushed him. And from what I remember, our brother turned around and kind of just pushed the kid on the ground and made him cry. I don't know. I think that's kind of funny.
I mean, I have stories about being with my little brother where he was being bullied, and I came outside. It was these two kids that were like slightly older than him, like probably like a year. They're all in middle school, and they were bullying him. And like I don't like beating up little kids, okay? Regardless if they're bullying my little brother, regardless if they're bullying my little brother, but older brother kind of thing. So he was being bullied, and he could handle one of the kids because this kid was like nearly in his face, and like, he body dropped him. Like that was pretty easy. But we had this other kid. I legitimately picked up the kid, threw him on the ground. Like, so he's like, I'm about like 5'9". He's about like 5'2" maybe at this point. So I just pick him up right off the ground. He's screaming and flailing, and I kind of toss him away. So he just like lands on his back up the ground, and I just kind of sat on him. So like, he was like, I can't breathe, get off me. And I'm like, are you gonna just like fuck off now, please?
Fuck off.
And the kid, until he was just screaming and crying, until eventually he's just like, yeah, I'll just go home. And I got off of him, and he just got up, and he like got on his bike, and he just rode off. He left his friend there being beat up by my little brother. And it's like, this is what middle schoolers do. When I said middle schoolers are dicks, this is what I mean. They bully little kids, and they think it's funny.
They will bully little kids, and then they will abandon their friends.
Just for some clarification, I haven't seen those kids in my neighborhood since. I think it's because they're scared of me, but I don't know.
First impressions matter.
First impressions matter. Well, I mean, they'd seen me before, but they didn't think I would actually do what I said I would do if they bullied my little brother.
Well, why didn't you like? Oh wait, you didn't know me back then. I would just sat on him.
Anyways,
like
so that's what
but even worse.
I didn't want to beat him up. I just wanted to get him like,
we were
stop.
we were talking about watching a good movie called Get Out, and I was playing Wolfenstein, and you guys were heading over.
So for context, Oreo, as we were talking about, the Oreo that I know, he was He was a kid that me and Mick knew all the way back in middle school. I knew him ever actually since first grade, and he was a cool kid. But the one thing I always thought when I met him was, Jesus Christ, who fucking made you so ugly? Like, seriously, he was an ugly little kid. Like, I always thought his face reminded me of Picasso because both of his eyes were just so displaced. It's kind of like you take this clay sculpture and you put googly eyes, like, kind of on the face, but they're like not exactly in the same.
I'm just gonna say this for reference. Hey Mick, try to find an image that's like this and put it up during the podcast.
But this is what Oreo just have an Oreo, but have like fucking Photoshop fucking thing of
two eyes, one that's like up in the top left corner, and one that's like just centered right side. And then he just has like his mouth, and it just looks like a downy mouth, where he's like,
looking like it's melting.
Just make an Oreo look mentally handicapped.
Got it.
Just make it look really retarded.
I'll try.
Anyways, basically, Oreo, he was a really introverted person before he ended up having to actually go to college, and I stayed here and I worked after I graduated. When he graduated high school, he fucking I see that. Anyways, so what ended up happening is that on the way here, we got on the subject of talking about. We got on the subject of how I view things because he wanted to know my opinion on stuff, and he asked me what my opinion was on him, and I gave him my honest opinion, and we stopped talking for a little bit, and on the way we were going, we were talking about the summer job you and I did that summer before we did that summer, and how that there's supposed to be that summer fair thing that we were supposed to get.
Yeah, I didn't get that. That was really the scheduling on that was retarded. We didn't. Yeah, I know. I really wish we could have gone.
Be careful, you'll offend somebody.
Yeah, you can't use the R word. Ravioli. Okay, anyways.
I don't know what to say to that.
But what ended up happening was that on the way here, he asked like how I viewed life, and I said, well, I kind of like to I generally like to take experiences and think about the future and plan ahead. But anyways, you know, and he said, I told him that, you know, at the summer convention, at the summer fucking fair that I did last time, there is this guy who was in charge of this company. I'm not releasing names, but it's a very well-known company by a lot of people. And it was the CEO, the president, or however you say, and he gave us some inspirational talk. And the one thing that I remember him telling me was, "You think I could have been up here?" No. Honestly, no. I don't even think I could have done this shit. He told us to us. This guy who's in charge of this huge company that a lot of people know.
Slowly in back raises his hand. If you don't think you could do this shit, why try now?
Because he's done it.
He's already done it.
Yeah, he's already in charge of the company. He did it. He did it.
Get shut
I
down.
didn't think I could do it, but I kept trying because, you know, I thought I could do it. But
he said he thought he said he didn't think he would get to the place that he is, you know, right then. And I told him I really enjoyed that because he gave me a lot of inspiration, made me think about what I want to do in the future. And Oreo turned to me and said, "That sounds pretty dumb. I rather would have gone and seen a music concert." And keep in mind, this is the type of guy who likes Lil Pump.
Little what?
Lil Pump, one of those mumble rappers.
If you don't, let me tell you what mumble rapping is.
I don't listen to rap.
Yeah, okay, so it's like rap beats. It's like rap beats, and then instead of actually rapping and actually having lyrics, it's like I'm gonna kill. It's like basically mumbling with like few little words here and there.
So it makes it sound like they're saying stuff.
It's mostly like for the really dumb, drunk, stupid people that don't actually want to turn music on, but just want something to like go.
Bring up the conversation of rap music and it being not so great or not so good all the time.
Depends.
So you guys know Logic, right? Like Logic, he's not.
Fuck Logic.
I only learned about him for the Rick and Morty
he's
episode.
Not terrible. No, shut up. He's not terrible. Like some of his music's bearable and it's okay, especially among these new coming rappers that are coming out. Some people like him, and I know a lot of people are going to take this to offense that are listening to this podcast. But personally, his new song, that 1-800 song, I didn't like very much because 80% of all of the lyrics are "I don't want to die" or "I want to die," and it's about
fucking
suicide.
Decide. Holy shit!
Sounds like
the song is about suicide and like facing it and actually changing and going against it. But the thing is 80% of his song is just he's like, "Guys, look, listen, I wrote this nice hook," and he rapped it and then said, "Okay, now let's play that on repeat."
Is that the one with the black kid and the homosexual, or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, there's just a black kid.
There's a black kid.
Gay and
that's
okay.
And like,
I saw that.
Just to be quite honest, if I had a son that was gay, I'd go, "Okay, you have a boyfriend." And if they told me yes, I go, "You better be cute because I'm not having any ugly people in my house."
I'm not having any ugly people.
If he looks anything like this,
you show.
It's Oreo.
Fucking like this Oreo. It's just a picture of Oreo from elementary school.
You have a flash picture.
But anyway, but basically what ended up happening is that he didn't like how I described his point of view, and basically what I said was, I like to think more about the future. You tend to just live in the moment and value what happens in the moment rather than what happens, you know, what happens next. What are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do a year from now? Or 5 years from now? You don't really tend to think about that. And that's what I told him. He longboarded, because he was one of those people who had a longboard. And I'm not saying all people who have longboards are faggots. It's just that the way, you know, Oreo rode the longboard made him a faggot. Anyways, so he got to your house, and he was fuming at me because of what I had said, because he just didn't agree. So we walked up over there, and finally, I don't remember what we were getting into, but it was a pretty heated debate about how he just disagreed with what I said. And I basically just cut him on. I said, "Okay, look, I'm gonna go inside and go hang out with my good friend Mike. You can join with me.
I thought my name was Mick. I don't give a shit.
I said Mick.
You said Mike.
I said Mick.
Nope.
Nope.
I'm gonna edit the shit. You're gonna see. But keep going.
What? How are you gonna edit me in saying a different name?
Yeah.
He said Mike, did he not?
I said Mick.
Yeah, he said Mike.
I take like
You said
video
Nick,
classes
baby.
and whatnot with
You said
advertising and everything. It's
Bill.
possible. It's scary as fuck.
Ooh. Okay, keep going.
Anyways, so I basically told Oreo to quit being a little fucking child and quit like having a tantrum, and I remember his his fucking expression, but I just never seen I guess a boy or a man or whatever you want to call him.
He went from an Oreo to a tomato.
So you mean
He went from an Oreo to like
tomato.
to like an Oreo with like chili powder sprinkled on it
Okay.
because he was like he was fuming. He was fuming. Anyways, anyways, I think this will be the end of episode.
But what happens after?
I think
What happens after the movie?
Oh,
That
You'll
was
find
fucking
that out
weird.
next
Anyways,
week.
I'll continue. Actually, I'll finish the story.
That was
so
so-
we ended up watching. We ended up going inside, and I tried being friendly with Oreo and me because I like commentating over movies, and sometimes I don't know how to shut the fuck up when I watch movies because I like to think out loud sometimes. We were watching Get Out, and the main character did some stupid decision. I don't even remember what scene, and I just said like, "Oh, I would have done something different, or I would have done that." I just mentioned like what I would have done from my point of view, and Oreo just turns to me and goes, "Why are you being a bitch, D-man? Why do you have to be such a bitch?" And I'm like, first off, I just turned over to Oreo and I looked at him. I go, "Why are you being an asshole?" Because first off, all I said was what I would have done from my point of view, and to also add to this, after I said what I had said from my point of view, I also continued to say, well, that was pretty stupid for me to say. So, for me to acknowledge that what I said was pretty dumb makes what he was trying to say kind of invalid from my point of view. Because it's like, why are you trying to go on something that I already admittedly myself said that it was dumb? Why are you trying to make a mountain out of a small anthill?
From what I've been seeing, it seems like Oreo has been trying to get every little bit, like everything that you could argue with. It seems like from what you've been saying, he's arguing with like literally everything. Every little thing he argues with.
It's okay. At least I was done being friends with him.
That felt really weird because I was just watching the movie and you just got up and you're like, I don't think we can be friends anymore. And I'm just like, whoa, what? I'm just like sitting in the back being quiet. I'm like, this is awkward.
I hate him. I really do.
Yeah,
That's alright.
I get it.
That's the end. That's the end of the dunking Oreo story, I guess.
Yeah.
Dunking Oreo. That's pretty nice.
Anyways.
I prefer to call it dumping Oreo, but
So-
Downy Oreo.
Should we end it right here?
Yeah, we can end it now. This is a good first.
Let's call this
I believe
episode
it.
0. Or
Yeah, this is episode 0 because
Episode zero.
I'm getting into this. I'm not super used to just randomly
to the
talking.
Couldn't we just call it a testisode then?
Testisode.
It's a
Testisode, yeah.
testisode!
I just want to say that
Thank you for
Yeah.
listening to our bullshit.
If you sat through this whole podcast, I'd like to congratulate you, and I'd also like to recommend if you have any other stories that are like tard stories or things that you want to kind of share with us, we might talk about.
If you
it
have
in the
any
next
questions
episode.
for us, anything, we will answer to their best ability, as long as you're not Asian.
all I
We don't
gotta
like
say.
Asian
No,
people.
no, don't say that. I'll answer to Asian people. D-Man over here might be a little bit offensive
I'm
sometimes,
joking.
but we try.
My
So-
grandfather was in Nagasaki after 1945. He just visited there on a trip one day.
Okay, so if you have any stories or anything you want to talk to us about, leave it down in the comments. If you listen to this whole thing,
Wherever we post,
I applaud
wherever
you.
we decide to post this first part.
I
Yeah.
applaud you. I mean, I know that we may be just bullshitting this whole thing, but hey, you listen to it all, so what does that make you?
Hey guys, just a little heads up. For the next podcast, I am going to try to completely cut out the whole. You know, those noises. I'm going to try to completely cut them out and maybe even. You know, that fucking shit. You know, in the middle of talking, people are just like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to try to cut that out next podcast. And also, we're going to have to come up with a name, so yeah. Next time you see us, we'll have a name and we'll be official. All right, that's all. I just wanted to give that quick head up. Just wanted to give that quick heads up. Bye bye.